Here at another trainingsites.io. Open tabs. Every day I go through some of the open tabs and things that we were looking at or using the day before, and I want to share something with you today which is kind of interesting. If you've got a membership site, an online course, you're building an education business, some of the things that you run into obviously is that there's a lot of moving pieces. There's lots of stuff going on all of the time, and you've got to have a real handle on how do I make sure that the people that I'm having as my members or my students of my courses or in my community, it's a big thriving community. Think of it as a campus. It's like you have to have some kind of tour or way to guide people around. And in fact, if you were at a tour or any kind of large building or campus, there's often tours at the start of the year, right? It's like, how do you find your way around the campus? What are the different areas for different faculties? What are the areas that are for, like sports? Or what are the areas for the library? Or what are the areas for lectures? And it's like, you have to make sure that that first experience that people get into when they join the campus, when they join the community, even when they're just taking a course or becoming a member, that they understand what is the path or the tracks that I'm going to be taking, what are the different tools and resources that I have available, and how am I going to use them. So having said that, just think about it for a second. You've got a community, you've got a website. It's for lack of a better word, it's a static, unmanned website. You can add some tools that, basically provide documentation that if someone does find it, they can go to the help desk, they can do a search through the FAQs and get a little bit of information. The other thing that can happen is that, you may have someone who's doing something a lot like a live chat. And if people get stuck, they can click the button or usually the icon, usually in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and say, hey, I need some help. And most of those chats start off with some kind of automated checklist. And then, if they really get stuck, someone has to open a ticket. And the odd time that there is someone really there for a live chat, it's like set hours to do that. So if someone goes after hours, they're just out of luck. They're stuck. They've got all this information in front of them and they don't know what to do. So one of the things that we looked at, one of the things that we have in our open tabs I wanted to show you today is a little bit of a kind of a neat tool that alleviates the problem of having that experience of what's called onboarding. It's like, campus tour in real life for a website, it's like an onboard. How do I get people into my community, get them comfortable, make sure that they see all of the different things that are appropriate to them? How does that get started? Without you being involved, but in a manner that makes sense, that it's appropriate for them. So there's a couple ways that you might want to consider doing it. Now, earlier I talked about tango.us, I think is a URL. And that allows you to create step-by-step videos of processes on your website. And that's a great tool if you want to show people, for example, how to get around the site, but it's a video they have to watch. It's a static video. They have to find the video. They have to click the video. They have to follow the video within the actual website. So there's not a lot of flexibility in that, and it's kind of after the fact, right? It's after they're in mucking around, they may be finding the video, or they may click the video and watch the video without actually being in the site. So it's a little bit disjointed. I think, tools like tango.us are great ones for creating processes that can be used in courses, but it's not the best way to do onboarding. So just to give you an example, I'll just open up a screen just so that you can see it. If, for example, you go onto trainingsites.io, we have a dashboard. There's a lot of moving pieces on the dashboard. We've got a big campus. We've got courses. We've got member directories. We've got online classes and events. We have activity feeds. We've got discussion forums. We've got groups. There's just a lot there. So it can be overwhelming. And one of the things that you want to do is be able to, again, guide people through all of these different steps and introduce them to them or areas at the right time. So here's a great tool. I want you to write this one down. And again, I've made it available in the links below. If you haven't already liked and subscribed on the YouTube channel, please do so. And if you haven't joined the community, it's trainingsites.io. It's free to get in and poke around with it. So here's the tool. I'm going to open this one up. This one is called Useful. And Useful's interesting in two respects. One is that it has a little extension or plugin that you can install on your browser to help you out kind of build these tours or see these tours that we're going to build. The other one is that this is kind of a smart way of onboarding. And what I mean by that is that you can set this tool up to do a number of steps, which I'll introduce to you, but this isn't something that you have to have on all of the time. You can do this and set it up so that it can happen the first time someone logs in. It can happen for the first X period of times or X number of times they go in. It can be for, for example, for a period of time. And it's just a really nice tool for actually guiding people through a site with bubbles or areas or steps that not only will people take, but it's also the ones that you want to make sure that they take during that onboarding process. So what it is, a lot of times I think it was used for product introductions, but it's a great one for onboarding and membership sites. And what do I mean by that? So this particular one, I'm just looking at the menu here. If you look at it, it's got product tours, onboarding checklist, smart tips, banners, knowledge base assistance, surveys, and interactive product demos. So if you look, I'm going to move my mouse away here. If you can see on the little video, the GIF that's playing on the right-hand side here, you'll see that there's some like little bubbles. And you've probably run into this first time you used a product before, or first time you had visited or signed up for something. It's like little bubbles show up with instructions on different parts of the site and pointing to or guiding you through the use of the site. So this is exactly what Useful does, is make sure that you can give those guided tours for proper onboarding and or checklists, which is another powerful one when we're teaching things that people know that, hey, did I do this? Did I do this? Did I do this? Let's follow along with the checklist. So there's some of the examples that they have: product tours, onboarding checklists, that kind of thing. So I'll just do onboarding checklists so that you can see it. And what it does is it makes processes or tours easy and guided based on the actions or activities on the screen. So you can tell people, for example, where a certain menu is, give them instructions on what the menu does and how it works. You can move people or guide people to specific areas of an actual site. The other thing that's nice is you can actually let people know how far along they are in the tour. And these tours can be 1 step, they can be 38 steps. It's completely up to you on how you set these up. And I'll show you the interface in a second. A tour is just one onboarding checklist is just one thing. I think the guided tours along with the checklist are things that make it powerful for membership sites. So let me I'll give you a quick interview of how this might work for you. Here's one just as an example. Let me do one here. We'll just do one. I'll open up one, and you can see on this particular screen, let's see if I move my, let's make myself a little smaller here. There we go, that should work. So I'm in a position here where we've got a little bit of a smaller one. I got to make sure I got the right person here. I moved myself away, so let's try this one. There we go, let's try this one. So in this case, you can see on the right-hand side, there's the little bit of the bubble here that we're working around. So this is one that was set up, and this is the welcome screen. It's in the middle of the screen. We've got one where we're showing particular menus. These ones are the steps that I'm looking through, and you can see there's a pointer here. This one is just showing the steps. This tour with the widget, their extension I was talking about, it allows you to move these bubbles around on the appropriate part of the screen. So this is just an example of some of the pointers of what happens. And you can see there's a progress menu across. We've got some graphics, what it is, previous and next. And some of them have, for example, they have instructions on what I want you to do. Make yourself visible, click the update your profile button. And so you can guide steps that go along with this and allow yourself to create tours. And we've got some steps here, some templates. And if I move to the settings one, this is the one that's interesting, because what it does is it allows it to show up only on certain pages for certain URLs, for example, and it can have triggers as to when it shows up. So it's not just showing up for everyone. It lets people know when does it start, and in fact, how many times does it start. Is it a certain number of times and then manually? Is it every time? Remember, last step shows the progress. There's just a lot of different options available for you there as you're doing this onboarding thing. So if you get a chance, go check out usetoful.com. I put the link in below. It's free to join up. There's some really, really powerful ways to get people started in your community on your membership site. And it's one of the open tabs that we have available on a regular basis because we include these in a lot of the sites that we build. So again, if you do want a training site, you do want an online course, you do want a community built for you, that's part of what we do at trainingsites.io. On the other hand, if you want to learn how to do it yourself, join the community again at trainingsites.io. Register and you can get in and see what we do, and more importantly, learn how to do it yourself on your own site. This is James Maduke speaking from trainingsites.io. Hope you enjoyed this little session. We'll be back tomorrow with another open tab. Take care. Expect the best.